We're back, baby.
Assume the position.
Well, it is episode 3 of Anatomically Correct with Zach and Matt.
Anatomically correct.
I'm feeling as anatomically correct as ever.
If you want to be anatomically correct, you better sit up tall.
And let's review. What does anatomically correct
Anatomically correct means that you're correct anatomically.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Tell your friends.
That's the scientific explanation.
Tell your friends.
In the fitness business, when we speak anatomically correct, I think about good posture.
Yeah. Well, you got to.
That's what I think.
You got to come correct.
Anatomically.
Anatomical. Get your anatomicals right.
Hey, before we go any further, I know that you guys noticed something different about us. What would it be?
You got a fine looking hat.
Woo!
You drive trucks? Is that trucker look?
It's my CTF hat.
I like it.
We got them for sale.
Look, I kept my sticker on.
We got two.
The kids like that.
I know.
The kids like
I know
that.
how y'all do. But we got two different styles. We got the darker, and then we got the white. There it is.
I like it.
Available now. Now available.
25 American US dollars.
What are we gonna talk about today?
Well, a lot of people wanted to know about those abs.
Woo! Everybody wants abs.
We all want abs.
We all got them.
You have them. I have them. You have them.
All y'all got them. All y'all got beautiful abs.
They're there.
Y'all got more than 6 of them.
There's 8, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
But the big question is, if we all have them, everybody wants to see them. Right? Not how do I get abs? Your abs are already there, but we want to see your abs.
And that's
see your abs.
That's an important thing to point out. You do have abs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people know that.
There's
but the common
plenty of
question is, how
people
do I get abs?
Yeah. Right. How do I see my abs? Let's rephrase that question next time y'all bring it to us. How do I see my abs? Because they're already there.
Right.
And the number one way is what?
Well, it's a combination.
No, there's one way to see your abs.
Well, you got to remove the fat.
That's it.
That's all I was
trying to get.
Gotcha.
You got to decrease your body fat, and there's different ways to do that. There's 2 main ways.
Right.
What are they, Matt? 2 main ways to decrease your body fat so we can see your abs.
Well, to burn the body fat, we need to be in a caloric deficit, or you need to be burning more calories than you're putting in your body.
Gotcha. Yes.
So we would accomplish that through reducing caloric intake, or probably just eating less food. Talking layman's terms, stop eating so much.
Stop eating so much.
And eat the right things. And you got to work out.
And you got to move your body. Diet and exercise.
You got to work out.
Diet and exercise. That's nothing fancy, and it's not that exciting, but it's the only thing that works.
It really is. It really is. And now, when it comes to that, there's a lot of people that then are going to say, what? Well, what diet do I need to be on? What type of exercises do I have to do?
We don't have that much time.
We don't. But what
we don't have that much time, Matt, to go into every diet.
What we want to do is, one, really plug what works for you, and you gotta have some self-experimentation in there, because things that I've done in the past that have really helped me enhance probably my abs visually are probably slightly different than the things that you've done.
We'll just say, and I hope we're not getting too far off track, but for me, at one time I had some ripped abs, shredded at one time. See, for me it was the diet. I love to exercise. Matt and I both, we're gonna always exercise. That's a given. So that's like one piece that's just like, we'll check that piece off.
Right.
And we eat clean too. We're in the fitness business, so I feel like the more you talk about certain things, the more you're aware of it. So we're always talking about health and fitness, so that stuff's on our mind when we make decisions and exercising and what we eat. But for me, it was really dialing in my diet. Right. And I'm in shape, and I couldn't see my abs.
So if you
so it's a challenge to do.
Oh, I've been in probably what a lot of people would say good shape, and not had necessarily the most like ripped, defined abs.
There's difference in being in shape and being lean too.
Right.
You can be in great shape.
I mean, side note, doesn't it frustrate you when people who don't even work out and they kind of eat Doritos and drink Pepsi all day, and somehow they still got the abs?
It's genetics, man.
Get out of my face.
Hey, but don't hate.
I'm hating.
Don't hate.
I'm hating. So if today, Zach, I was gonna say, I want you to do everything that you know to do to give yourself the most aesthetically ripped abs.
Yeah.
What are the first couple things you would start doing?
What
would you do with your diet? What would you do with your diet first to get really, really ripped in your midsection?
If I wanted to get ripped quick.
Yeah, we'll talk sustainability later on, but right now
I'm not gonna talk about how many calories to get.
Right,
I'm not a big calorie counter because I just like to eat. But when I eat, I like to eat the good stuff. But if you're gonna cut something out, I will cut out. When I say carbs, I'm gonna say sugars.
Yes.
You cut out your sugars because here's the deal: sugars are very acidic. Your body hates to be acidic. It hates an acidic environment. So
For a lot of reasons.
oh, we talk about cancers
Right.
and everything that's bad in your life is because in your body is because if your acid levels are too high.
For sure.
So if we can decrease that acidity, we're going to decrease inflammation. Here's what happens. If you got a lot of acid in your body from eating a lot of sugars, a lot of bad carbs, your body's going to hold on to a certain layer of fat, and it's going to hold on to a certain layer of water to help buffer all that acidity so it doesn't get near your vital organs, right? So that's why you go to, what's the Japanese steakhouse in town?
Miyabi.
That's not here anymore. It's something else.
Rest
You
in
go
peace.
eat,
Pour some out for
hey,
Miyabi's.
Hey, pour it out. Pour the white sauce on the rice.
See, that's what you don't want to eat.
No, but what I'm saying is the next day, people talk about how bloated they are
Yes.
because there's a lot of acid in your body. Your body's going to retain a ton of water. So first and foremost, and a very simple thing to do is think, hey, I'm going to get these sugars out of my body.
And again, just to reiterate, when you say sugars, you're not just talking about candy and cookies.
Right.
You mean a lot of those refined carbs like the white breads, crackers,
You know, everything.
a lot of just
Unless it's a protein.
white flour.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything white, obviously, is bad, but everything has to get broke down to a sugar to digest. Now,
Right.
proteins and fats are different, right? So
So what would you do with those then?
we got to increase those.
Okay. So decrease the refined carbs and sugars.
Yes.
Increase the proteins and
And
fats.
so when you talk about calories earlier, you could get the same amount of calories in throughout the day, but if they come from a different source, if you're getting 1,200 calories, but they're all from Snicker bars and ding dong, what are they called, ding dongs?
there are ding dongs. Anatomically correct.
You need nutrient dense food. How about that?
You do. But that's a good point. 1,200 calories across the board isn't always 1,200 calories.
Right.
I wouldn't advise this, but I guarantee if you ate 1,200 calories of ding dongs a day, your body's going to look and feel a lot different than if you ait 1,200 calories.
I'd hate to see
of-
it. I'd hate to see it.
Man, I wonder how many ding dongs 1,200 calories is.
It's probably not as many as you think.
Probably not.
You could probably hammer down a few ding dongs. I mean, in no time, if you had to.
I mean,
all right.
I mean,
Hey, so here we go.
that's nasty.
We're talking about fats and proteins.
Yes.
Switching gears.
So we need to increase those, typically.
Yeah.
Okay, so reduce the carbs,
What
which
we're
means
saying
reduce
that
the sugars.
exactly. We're saying if you just say I'm going to cut out all my, say you eat a lot of bad calories, you eat a lot of sugars, a lot of carbohydrates, white bread. If you just cut that stuff out, you got to replace it with other calories, or else you're not going to have any calories.
Right.
You're going to feel terrible.
Well, you'll starve.
especially if
Yeah.
you're trying to exercise.
Absolutely.
And when we talk about exercise, Matt, you know what's the best? I like a combination of heavy lifting, cardio,
Mm-hmm.
but in general, what would you say if we're looking for a quick fix to decrease our body fat fast along with a good diet? What type of training?
Well, we
would
give
be
a lot
the
of love
best?
to HIIT,
Yep.
so I'm going to say HIIT training, which is that HIIT.
That's what I was going with that. but
Yes,
I,
high intensity interval training, because it combines both of those things. It combines the cardiovascular training or the
Yes.
cardio, and it also combines the resistance training because
Exactly.
muscle burns fat.
Perfect.
So you're not just spinning your wheels literally on a bike maybe for an hour.
Well,
now that is one way
misconception.
Right.
We see it all the time, men and women, probably more in women that say, I want to shred some body fat, so I'm going to go do a ton of cardio. I'm going to I walk the bridge every day in Charleston.
Yeah.
And they're putting the time in. That takes a long time to do.
And I've ran into a lot of people, and I know you have too, probably really frustrated by really putting in a lot of good effort, and they're not trying to slouch, and they're like, man, I get up and I take a 3-mile walk every
Sure.
day. I trained a client, and she would do that, and she was just super frustrated with why her body just wouldn't budge. There's a lot of reasons probably why that was happening, but one, your body adapts.
Your body adapts.
So it was just used to doing that, so that wasn't yielding any more results. So a good way to mix it up, you gotta increase the intensity.
You got to increase the intensity, but you got to move weight. And women especially. Women, y'all don't have the same testosterone levels as big chest Matt over here.
You don't.
You don't. So you've got to increase your lean muscle mass. That's the whole purpose of muscle in our body. It's very anabolic. It burns fat. So the more muscle you have, that's why men are typically leaner than women. I say it all
Right.
the time. But if you're just doing the cardio, you're selling yourself short. You're doing one piece of it. One piece. Cardio. Then we've got the resistance training. And I'm putting resistance and functional training.
Yeah.
And then you've got the diet. Those three things. And if you don't do them all at the same time, it just never works. So HIIT training is a great way to combine all those at once, especially with our classes at Chucktown. You show up and get taken care of. We just wear it out.
Heck yeah. And I mean, from somebody who lifts weights all the time, when I jump into these classes once or twice a week, I mean, they always kick my butt.
Oh yeah.
Like always.
Well, because you like to work hard.
I do like to
I
work.
love working hard.
I do like to work. Well, if I'm already in here and like I'm in the workout, why not?
Amen.
I guess, why not?
Amen. Well, what about this? Let's talk about maybe some misconceptions with how to make those how to work your abs.
Yes.
Because I know growing up, you'd hear people bragging, I did 300 sit-ups today or 300 crunches.
And there's something to be said for that. That's
Nothing wrong with that.
It's not bad. I think there's more efficient ways you could do it.
Well, it's like this, guys. Your abs are like any other muscle group in your body, like your bicep, like your chest, whatever you want to pump and get bigger and stronger.
And we don't mean bulky like you're gonna get a big waist. We mean like to visibly see the abs.
Muscle, whether it's in your abs, your back, your neck, wherever it is, it responds the same to resistance training.
Gotta get that neck.
I don't know why I said
I don't either. You gotta get that
it's
neck.
all right. We're live.
You gotta get that neck.
We're live.
We'd probably edit that out if we could.
Yeah. You got to get that neck.
Got to. Neck and abs.
Eat your ding dongs.
Neck and abs. I think we got
All
neck
right.
programmed into the workout tonight. Come on and work your
We
neck
got
out.
we're working neck. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Back on track.
So we'll talk about hitting your abs. I like when I do my abs, what's been the best success for me is doing big, heavy movements.
Yes.
And that means we're doing reps of 8 to 12, whether you do big hanging leg raises or adding weight to the abdominal movements as opposed to just doing a ton of reps. You're not going to sit there and do 300 bicep curls to make your arms get big. You're going to go heavy. You want to move
Right.
heavy weight.
Right.
You want those muscles to pop out.
And keep in mind too, with especially ladies, we're talking to you, you're not gonna get those muscles overly bulky when we say to put heavy weight on them.
Right.
Again, it's like
You got to
somebody
use
saying
different words with women.
it's like saying I want more sculpted arms. Just use arms because you said
Yeah,
curls.
you can't say
and yet
it.
I never actually pick up weight to work that muscle. So if we're gonna remove fat from our bodies and we want to, with the intent of physically seeing the muscles show out better, you also need to give those muscles some sort of resistance so that they
course.
grow, if anything, just more tough and more
Don't say
toned.
the word grow or build
Right.
around women. They take it the wrong way.
Right, and we're just being real with y'all because we understand. I understand. My wife, I almost said girlfriend. My wife, because I just got married a couple
little
weeks ago.
plug. Matt just got married. Hey,
She put a ring on it. She doesn't want to get bulky, but she uses weights because she understands the science behind the more weightlifting she does, it burns body fat on her
Ladies.
body. And she does not look masculine.
no, Emily's beautiful. What I'm saying is, ladies, you're not going to bulk up. You're not going to bulk up because you're not going to consume enough calories to bulk up. It's just not going to happen. You might feel tight,
Right.
but when you build, we build muscle, you burn fat. So you decrease your body fat, you decrease your measurements. That's what we're trying to do.
And it goes back to that testosterone point you made. Women, you just don't have the same ratio of testosterone as what men do.
Right.
So even hormonally, your bodies aren't predetermined to grow to the
When
same.
you think about building muscle for women, it's not fair.
Right. It's not fair. I was going to make that point earlier. I just didn't want to cut you off because you were flowing.
Thank you.
You were flowing. But it's not fair because I've had a lot of women when I've explained this to them over the years. They say, "Well, that's not fair. You guys burn fat so much easier than us." And I say, "I know. I'm not saying it's.
Listen.
I'm not saying it is fair.
It's
but
tried and true.
But we got to tell you this so
Yeah.
that you know that you're not doing something wrong. Well, you might be doing something wrong, but
Most likely doing something wrong.
okay, you're doing something wrong.
You're doing something wrong.
You're doing something wrong.
But we'll take, what do? I do this all the time. You've done this. You take a husband and a wife, put them together, and if they're both intent on getting lean the same goals,
Usually the guy first.
and the wife would just be so
Upset, and I get it. I'd be upset too.
I would too, because it's not fair.
It's not.
I've been tight on my diet, and I gained 5 pounds, and he ate like you know what over the weekend and lost 5 pounds.
But just like in life, there's a lot of things not fair, and just because something doesn't come out fair doesn't mean you just quit.
Right.
You still work on it, right?
Well,
So-
then we just figure out what's our next approach. We got to fine tune and figure out what works best for you. Exercise is important, obviously. All right. So then when we talk about the diet, we got to cut some things out. We cut the sugars out.
we cut the, yeah. If you're taking notes at home,
Yeah, take notes at home.
you're cutting the sugars out, but you're also increasing. More than likely, I'd swear 9.5 people out of 10 need to increase their protein. Probably need to modify and increase the types of fats that they're
You
eating.
got to increase the muscle fuel.
Fiber, we didn't even touch fiber. You need to probably increase your fiber intake. And best way to get more fiber is just through the skins, the peels of a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, a lot of those whole foods that you're going to be eating anyways.
Yeah, if you don't get enough fiber, you're gonna be bloated and you're gonna retain water. You're not gonna feel good. You need fiber in your diet. Get the fiber in your diet. Let's just rattle them off. We'll
Yeah.
rattle off. Let's say we're gonna cut back on our sugars. That's
Yep.
a very simple thing to do. But what are we gonna increase? We want to increase our water intake.
Yes.
Because if we take out those sugars, right, we don't have as much acid in our body, so our body's not going to hold on to water. And then if we, on top of that, we increase the water, man, don't you flush it out?
You do. And if you don't drink a whole lot of water, when you do drink water, your body is a lot more apt to hold on to it and bloat.
Right.
So get more in, so that way your body gets into more of a rhythm too. Yeah, you'll probably pee a little bit more.
You'll pee a lot more.
Suck it up. You know, I mean, there's always a reason.
You drink a gallon of water a day, you're going to pee constantly.
You will. And if that's the reason why you're not living a healthier lifestyle and or achieving the goals that you want, even if it is just to look in the mirror and feel better, then you just don't deserve to get those results.
What, if
just to be real.
If you don't drink a gallon a day?
Well, no, if I'm saying when people give the excuses of, well, I pee too much, I don't want to do that.
Oh, then it's not that important to
So?
you. Now, I'll tell you what, my wife was a teacher. Taylor, love you, sweetie. My wife was a teacher, and she'll argue that if she drinks water all day, I mean, she can't keep peeing. So I do understand to some degree. But you get it early, you get it later after school. You need to flush your system, increase your water.
She's good at, well, never mind.
They got a bathroom in the class, but she just can't be leaving every 10 minutes to go pee.
Tell those kids you gotta get ripped.
We gotta increase our water. We're gonna increase our fiber.
Yes.
Increase the muscle, the protein to build the muscle. That's muscle. You gotta have the amino acids to build the muscle. You can work your muscles all day long, but if you don't get enough protein, then you're not gonna be able to repair them. And they're not gonna preach. My bad.
Take them to church.
Lastly,
Yeah.
increase your,
What we talk about, water.
what we said, water, fiber, protein,
fats.
That's it.
There we go.
We need to expand on that a little bit.
Yep.
Did you do that earlier?
The good fats, we didn't. One of the easiest ways to do that, that's also heart healthy, good for your joints, all that other stuff, start taking something like omega-3s, like krill oil, omega-3
Now-
fish oils.
Now, fish eat the krill. So isn't krill like the
Like the plankton, I believe, like the little small things.
but that's the best.
well, it has
Is
the
krill
highest.
oil better than fish oil?
Well,
I'm literally asking.
When you get, if you're doing it for the reasons of the omega-3s, those EPAs and DHAs, which are like the good heart healthy things,
Right.
you get more of a concentrated dose in krill.
Okay, that's what I gathered.
So
That's what I gathered.
Yeah.
Fats are great for your skin.
get your, like what a lot of us know, avocados. Try to cook with olive
Don't
oil.
cook with avocado oil.
No, cook with olive
I've
oil.
done that before.
Cook with olive oil over things like canola oil,
Sure.
stuff like that.
Fats are also good.
Nuts, legumes, all that stuff.
Yeah, like your handful of almonds or walnuts or something like that. They're
Be
very
careful with
slow
those,
burning.
because those are high calorie.
They're
We're
high
throwing a lot
calorie.
at y'all, but this is like every week. This is just gonna be crash course.
This
stuff for
real
y'all.
talk. Listen, if you're gonna eat your almonds and walnuts, you need to eat the natural ones.
Yeah, don't get like honey glazed.
Even
like that kind of defeats the point.
yeah, that way they can tell their trainer that they ate their almonds. But you want to get the natural ones, not the ones that are cooked in cottonseed oil. Cottonseed oil, if you look at the ingredients, if it's lightly salted or whatever, dry roasted, they're typically cooked in a cottonseed oil, and that's an omega-6, bad fat. That's not what you want. We want the good fats, so eat the natural ones. But they're good slow burning source of energy, helps regulate your blood sugar so you don't have bad cravings later.
Keep your nuts natty. That's the takeaway.
Natty, natural.
Yeah,
All right.
keep your nuts natty. That's what I took away from what you just said.
Okay. Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, man. So let's recap.
Okay.
Recap what we talked about. We were talking about wanting to see your abs. We talked about making sure there's two basic things. You got to eat right and you got to exercise. That's essentially what we covered.
This was like 20 minutes of us saying that.
Right.
But it's again, just keeping it real with y'all.
It's nice to hear it from some different angles. Sometimes you hear something and it just clicks. And that's why you surround yourself with healthy-minded people.
Right.
Because if you don't think about it all the time, it's just never going to happen. You hear something and then it, resonates with you, and then all of a sudden you just change your life.
You got to burn more calories, and you do that by probably eating a lot less than what you have been eating. You got to exercise probably more than what you have been exercising. You need to probably switch up how you've been exercising.
You need to check out Chucktown Fitness.
Your body's adapted to what it's been doing, so come on into Chucktown Fitness.
Even if it's a great routine, and Matt, you're totally right. Even if you have the best routine in the world, if you've done it for 10 years, then your body's going to get used to it, and you're not going to get much out of it.
Sure.
So mixing it up.
You might maintain where you're at, and for some of us, that's the objective.
Sure.
But if your goal is, again, to keep tearing down body fat, then you're going to eventually need to adjust what you've been doing.
Get shredded.
So
Get shredded.
reduce the sugars and refined carbohydrates, and probably increase just about everything else, like protein, fats, and fiber, and water.
DM us.
DM.
You can DM us.
Slide on in.
Go to chucktownfitness.com, and there's a form you can fill out to try a free class, or type in a comment, ask us some questions.
Tell them about my code.
Oh, talking about MATT10, MATT10. 10 Matt 10. If you want to come down to Chucktown, save 10%. Type in Matt 10.
Do it.
Peace.
Peace out. That's it.
All right, let's peace out then.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
How'd you keep good show?
That was it.
Good deal. All right,
3
thanks
down.
guys.